Hi everyone, it's Celeste and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making Bulbsaur and an Ivysaur cosplay for your dog. I've been wanting to do some more Pokemon cosplays, not for myself, but for my canine friend. So today you will be needing a hot glue gun, some wire cutters, foam, cardboard, elastic, and of course scissors. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. First, I'm going to be using two different colors of green for the leaves. These green are going to be the top and the bottom to give it dimension. And I already go ahead and cut out the darker green into little pellets. So basically you just cut off the top and round it off, kind of like a leaf shape. We have this one here, I'm going to cut it in half so it will look like this. We're going to be using smaller portions of these for detailing the green parts. So you'll need 4 pieces of the dark green and then 2 pieces of light green foam. Next, I cut out 2 pieces of cardboard 6 by 6 inches. These are squares cut from a pizza box. I'm recycling this because cardboard, I don't feel like you have to buy it. This is kind of the shape for my bulldog's back. I used it from a previous pattern, but I went back and measured it just in case he's gotten a little bit wider. I'm going to be cutting one of these into more of a circle shape later so it holds the buds and the plants better. This is going to be the base. Make sure to heat up your glue gun. Now get out your wire and we're going to be using this down the center of the dark green foam. Now, as you guessed it, hot glue it down. With the light green foam, cut it into quarters. And now glue it on top of the wire to cover it. I wanted to put it at the top, that way the wire did not poke out. Now I'm going to take one of the cardboard pieces and cut it into a circle. Now let's find a middle point and make a hole in the middle. Now that you have a big enough hole in the center, stick your leaves inside it. Make sure you position your leaves in 4 different directions, and with the extra wire, bend it upwards, kind of like a paper clip, securing it in place. With the extra green foam pieces that we cut off, I'm going to be securing the wire using hot glue and making sure all of these scrap pieces go over it, kind of sealing it down. Do this for all pieces of wire. Now I'm going to be using this paper towel roll, and I'm going to be using this in the dead center of this cardboard piece. Now if we are only making Bulbsaur, you just want the leaves to go all the way to the top and then you can glue it down. But in this tutorial, I'm also showing you how to make Ivysaur. Begin by hot gluing the bottom of the cardboard tube to the base of the plant. Make sure that it's firmly secure by shaking it. Now we're going to be using pink foam for the flower bud. We're going to glue this to the base and then bring it to the top of the cardboard tube. Now I'm going to start shaping up the pink part so it looks like petals. Petals have this nice little teardrop shape, so I'm just going to cut off the side a little bit and then it'll shape up nicer to the top of the cardboard. I'm also going to make a small slit at the bottom, and this is going to be glued down later so that we can actually form a curving up petal. Make sure you do not cut off any of the length of the foam, that way it can bulb up. Now, as you can see, take that small slit and cross over the foam over itself. It's going to make a petal shape, and this way it'll sit nicely at the bottom of the circle. Make sure to hot glue that spot and then you can start attaching it to the bottom. I did this 4 times, so you'll need 4 pieces of foam. Now I'm going to add a lot of hot glue at the bottom petal on the inside, and then I'm going to press it onto the cardboard base. I'm going to glue the small bits at the top together to kind of form a nice little curved petal shape on the inside. Now I did it a few more times, and this is what your plant should look like. Now for the top inside cardboard tube, I'm going to use the scrap yellow foam. I'm going to be cutting it in multiple long strips. Now I'm going to use one of the small strands, add a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm going to roll it onto itself. I'm going to use up all these yellow scraps until it fits inside the cardboard tube. Once it gets to that size, I'm going to glue it inside the tube. This doesn't mean you have to do this step if you're doing Bulbsaur. Bulbsaur doesn't show that, and all you have to do is glue the green leaves to the top. But if you're doing Ivysaur, you definitely want to be able to have a very pretty, nice little flower bud. So now we're going to take these little edges, the petals that are curled in, the other two petals adjacent, I did not glue those, and we're going to slightly press it to the bud. You can see I added a lot of pink extra foam here. That's not necessary and it gets covered. Don't waste time. That's why it's not in the tutorial. Glue two sides to the vase and then glue the two sides to the petals. Ta-da! This is the bulb complete. Now, if you're just making Bulbsaur, you want to just add the green on top of it, all in, not even worry about the pink part, and you'll be done. Now you just have to move on to the straps. Now we just need long pieces of elastic that will go around the neck and then around the body. If you want, you can kind of make them separating, but for this project, I'm going to be making them into loops. This is a little extra part, but I wanted to make little vines that come out because he uses Vine Whip. So I'm going to be using a little bit of this yellow-green foam, cutting it in half again, and then I'm going to be cutting it in fourths. Once I have it cut in fourths, I'm going to fold it in half, but not cut it in half, and then we're going to use the wire again, and we're going to glue it in the center, sandwiching it between the piece of foam. By the way, the type of wire I'm using is galvanized wire. I'm going to be using these leftover green scraps and I'm going to create a little leaflet bud for the end of the vine whip, and I'm just cutting it out and then I'm going to be gluing it onto the vine itself. Then I'm going to be gluing the wire and then you can see, just like this. Now I'm just going to fold it over and press it in. Make sure your wire has a long enough tail to be added into your flower. I ended up making 2 vines. With the remainder of the wire, I'm going to spiral it and then I'm going to secure it with hot glue at the bottom of the flower bud. I even used a bit of extra foam scraps to ultra secure it. Now that we're at the bottom of the foam bud, let's go ahead and add more hot glue there and then secure down our straps. I'm not going to tell you not to, but you can use Velcro to secure your straps. My Velcro was actually really weak and it's a little bit brittle, so I do recommend that you sew down your Velcro and get something very strong. Mine was self-adhesive and it wasn't that great, so that's why I opted to change this later. Now for final detailing, I used hot glue and I used it on the leaf itself. This is to emulate veins in plant leaves. Now I'm using dark green paints and I'm slowly brushing it out onto the leaf. This way it will give off a lifelike effect. Do this for both sides on all 4 leaves. So here we are behind the scenes of our Ivysaur Cosplay photo shoot. Chris is a Pokemon trainer today. Doesn't he look fabulous? Look, he's moving! A wild bulldog. I mean a wild Ivysaur on the loose. Alright, so hold this please. Creative director here. Surprisingly, we have very clear people today, so I think it's good that we won't get into a random Pokemon battle. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Maybe we should try that with like someone else's dog. Okay, so we're going to film over there and then try to get some pictures here, but there's like an actual bee, so we don't want him to get confused with Bowser, so. Alright, here we go. Take 1 of photo shoot with husband